masculine position to not be the driver in the driver's seat. That's what I felt like when you was talking about a car. That's what he was trying to bring, and if not, that's what I'm bringing. How is that? I kind of asked, like, do you not see the corrosion that might do in terms of, you see how you're saying you're taking a back seat for your career? Mm-hmm. Are you so certain, with all respect, are you so certain that the situation you have with your woman is grounded outside of public and social influences, that there won't be an abandonment coming from a field you didn't anticipate, such as from your woman, to leave you in a place where now not only are you dealing with the things you're dealing with, but now, I mean, again, I'm for marriage, so I'm not even trying to call any of this nonsense into existence. I'm just saying, what is your contingency plan when you're in a position like that? Because most men will hear this, and I'm not speaking from just most men to hide behind it. When I hear stuff like that, I look at it like, okay, I know why this individual's doing it, but are you so confident in what you have with this woman that if there's a circumstance, God forbid it, that you've now made a good decision from a masculine perspective, not from a familiar or family perspective? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it might sound naive. It might sound a little bit naive to you guys, but there's no contingency plan. There doesn't need to be one. You know, my wife and I, we're not separating. That's not an option. We got married and it's to stay together. We have a son, and that's to stay together. I never leave my son. I never ever abandon my son. And I'm not saying that I'm going to use my son as the reason to stay with my wife if I feel that one day I don't want to be. That's not what I'm saying. But there doesn't need to be a contingency plan, because there will be no abandonment, not from my wife, not from myself.
What's this thing this confidence, because I wouldn't call it naivety. So what's this confidence that you have? What is this tenet of confidence that she's bringing that strikes? Because when I hear that, not many women are bringing this. Mm-hmm. Women are going to listen to this, and this is the point is to keep it real, right? They're going to listen to this and say, this is some crazy shit you say. You know what I'm saying? They're going to listen.
Some Kool-Aid.
Right? In the sense that men, because this is the truth about the circumstance, men will look at this and be like, that nigga sounds wild. And then women will look at this, like I saw from my interpretation of that other woman that you spoke to last time, kind of like, this nigga's bugging. Like, why aren't you doing what men should be doing? She didn't say that, but I don't know if you felt that.
Yeah,
with her
she
question,
was thinking that,
but she didn't say it.
Was
yeah,
trying to hold back.
You know,
exactly.
Women are confrontational.
Yeah,
like that.
Exactly.
So,
not that I'm trying to be confrontational. I'm just trying to have some real dissecting of your position.
Absolutely. Right. No, I mean, every relationship, marriage, and whatever is subject to, it could end. Exactly. We all know that. I mean, I can't say 100%.
But you're definitely at a 90% with your confidence. Yeah. So what is that? How can I want to?
Well, there's many factors involved. There's factors that I could name. There's factors that I don't even know, but perhaps they give me a certain confidence. One thing I can say for sure is that my wife is very religious, and she leans on her faith a lot.
What faith is this?
She's Christian.
Okay.
And so based on that almost exclusively, I know that, as long as, there are certain checks that need to be hit in terms of fidelity and so on and so forth, but there's going to be no abandonment, and that's one reason.
I have a question. In terms of that, because of course we know that with marriage there's divorce always on the horizon. Not everyone chooses to think about it. That's fine. You can believe that your marriage is going to last forever until you're dead and gone, and that's how it's going to go. But in the case that things go south, so put it in a woman's perspective, right? In this day and age, if a woman decides not to have a career and be a stay-at-home mother, it's a risk she's taking. Of course she knows this, and she knows that potentially, and I think this is the rhetoric kind of going around, where a lot of women want to be independent now, or want to be able to be self-sufficient at the very least, because it's the idea of being under this control of this man, especially financially. Because you have to think about even like immigrants and even women of this country, a lot of the times they might not be granted the opportunity to work because they're childbearing, right? They're especially if a guy wants multiple children, if you're talking about 3+, right? 3, 4, 5, so they're not going to have the opportunity. And of course on the woman's side, she might not be of course she's going to go in there and say to herself, well, if this doesn't work out, like, I still, like, the law works more in the favor of a woman than it does for a man in this instance, especially if the relationship dissolves, right? So for men, for example, say they're in your position and they were contemplating of whether they wanted to be a stay-at-home or wanted to be making less than their wife, say for example in a marriage. What advice would you give to those type of men? Or is this something that you just believe works for your situation? Is this a lifestyle that you would maybe promote or say to other people?
Is this a lifestyle?
Is this something you would recommend to other men and say, hey, look, there's other options. You don't need to necessarily go to work. It's just as fulfilling as being a stay-at-home dad. Hey man, spotlight's on you, brother.
Listen, these are the questions you gotta answer.
It's a good question. I'm just laughing because, you know, I can't say what works for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I can't say what's fulfilling to you and what's fulfilling to me. Some people are fulfilled by money. Some people are fulfilled by money. You know, so I can't specifically speak to what's going to fulfill somebody else. What I can say 100% is that if you want to get close to your child in a way that most fathers, most men don't get a chance to, then I would definitely recommend it. Because I've made a bond with my son that I think I never would have been able to make if I wasn't able to be a stay-at-home father the way I have been for like the last 2 years.
Your situation, when you're saying that, that's why, again, I don't want to be the devil's advocate or anything. I'm speaking really from my heart when I'm hearing this. You have a one-off situation, sir. That's what you have right now when you're describing that. And the foundation of what you brought up has to do with your woman's religious value and underpinning.
Sure.
Most women are not, they're not doing that. They're not religious to that degree that they're going to tolerate a man staying at home for majority of the time while they are, quote, bringing home the bacon.
Sure, but that's why I say this is just different beliefs, because even, you know, what does that mean, tolerate? That sort of implies as if what I'm doing is negative or I'm not carrying my weight in any way.
It would